Alright, and now I'm back. Let me invite y'all again. Alright, peace. Welcome back to Elevator Reflections, episode 3. Our topic for today was healing childhood wounds, the parents edition. So basically what we're gonna talk about today is healing from our relationships with our parents or lack thereof. Some of us don't have that relationship, and whatever the situation was or whatever the circumstances was, we know that they did cause a issue or create their own blockages or effects on the people we actually became as grown-ups or as adults. So I actually have some questions that I had my viewers ask me or send me since yesterday. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer those questions today. And I'm going to just go ahead and get started. And I'm not going to ask the questions in no specific order. And I prefer to keep my questions anonymous unless that person would like to share their story or gets on here and, reveals themselves to be the one speaking about it. I won't be saying, or letting y'all know whose situation I'm speaking on. Okay, so the first question is, what can you do to heal from seeing or witnessing abuse happen between your parents? For one, for me, the first thing I would suggest to anyone who had witnessed or experienced their parents or any other adults, domestic situation while you were a child, I feel like first you have to acknowledge the pain that happened within that situation for you. How did that affect you as a child? How is that still affecting you as an adult? When you saw those things, what did they make you feel like? And then you have to acknowledge that you were witnessing these things happen and they were not your fault and they were something that you did not have control over. I know a lot of people who see these type of situations tend to blame themselves or feel like a guilt or a sense of guilt for not being able to do anything to help it or step in, you know what I mean? And you have to acknowledge that has nothing to do with you and that's not your job to have interfered at that point in time because you were a child. I think the next step would be to acknowledge that what you saw or what you experienced is not who you are. So just because you witnessed this experience in your household, it's important not to normalize it. It's important to make sure that you know within yourself that this is not okay and that it's not acceptable. If it's making you feel a type of way as a child, then that means that clearly it means that something's wrong with it, because as a child you're in your most pure form. There is no corruption in you for the most part, as a child. So You know, if it's making you feel a way as a child, then you already know that it shouldn't be acceptable in out in society. So you make sure, like I said, it's important to make sure you don't normalize it to be something that's acceptable in your life or in anyone else's life. You know what I mean? Um, I feel like if there is something that's still affecting you right now as an adult, um, that's I feel like you have to address the specific situation head on, like specifically. I feel like the more situations or the more details that you express in a situation when healing or manifesting or anything, the details enhance the effectiveness of what you're intending on doing. So if you're intending on trying to let it go or release it, I feel like it's important to give as much details on those situations so that you can, I feel like expressing or addressing each little small detail allows you to pick at it so deeply to the point that you have addressed every single part of the situation, and there was nothing that kind of let still stay in the shadow. Because when you're doing this type of shadow work, it's really no way for you to let this stuff stay in the shadow. It's going, like I've been saying for the last year and a half, you have to address this type of stuff or it will address you. So I like to tell my clients, or I like to tell people that I work with, to journal these type of things. When you're doing your shadow work, to journal, keep a journal, and write down the things that you want to release, or write down the things that are, causing you the most grief inside. And what I mean by that is if it still bothers you, you know what I'm saying, it still bothers you to effect right now. If you talk about it right now, it still causes some type of disturbance in your day and make you feel away or make you feel upset, or it causes an emotional reaction out of you, then that means that it's still something that you need to work on. You still need to be healed from that. And you write down those things with detail in them, as much detail as you can, so you can get ready to release them. The next question I have is, how do you heal from those wounds connected to seeing your seeing your parents, or any of your grown adult people around you in a domestic situation? How do you heal from those wounds properly and avoid attracting toxic partnerships in the future? And I think that goes into what I was just saying, as far as doing your shadow work and releasing and letting go of those behaviors and making sure that you don't normalize those behaviors and make them acceptable in your own life. I would say you take the time to, like I said, acknowledge how they hurt you or how the situations hurt you. You know what I'm saying? Acknowledge how those situations hurt you or how they made you feel, and decide whether or not that is something that you would like to be acceptable in your life. And then once you decide that it's not acceptable in your life, you make sure that you are consciously aware of what's going on around you, or what situations that you're in, so that you can make the choices of whether or not you're back in that situation or not. Because you've already experienced it or witnessed it, in your life as a child, or whenever you witnessed it, you know what I'm saying, whether it was yourself personally in a domestic situation, you know how to identify it now. You get what I'm saying? So now that you identify those situations, you have to basically address the things that hurt you head on. And like I said, you will know if you're not healed from it, because if it's a situation where you start to talk about it, or you can't talk about it without being emotionally reactive, that means that you still need to heal from that wound. You get what I'm saying? So I would say how you avoid attracting toxic partnerships is you like I said, because you've been in those situations, you know now how to identify the signs, or even if you don't feel like you know all the signs, you know how to identify some situations that make you uncomfortable. And what I tell people the most is, do not ignore your intuition. That little voice in your head that's telling you something wrong. You're like, I knew it. Like, later on after it happened, you're like, I knew that's what it was, but I just did not. That's what your intuition is. So that's the thing that I'm saying. Do not ignore it. If you're in a situation with somebody or a person, a relationship or a situation at all. Like even if it's just a single situation, it makes you feel that uncomfortable, or it reminds you at all of any of those toxic situations that you've been in before, that you witnessed before, then I'm sure, that's not a situation that you want to be in. So you would know, that's not the type of relationship that you would like to be in. And you make sure you just cut that shit off. You cut that shit off and you don't allow that in your life. And I would say that's how you avoid attracting those type of relationships. Also, learning to love yourself. Learning to love yourself so much that you wouldn't allow somebody to disrespect you in no type of way. Like you learn to love yourself and respect yourself so much that you would not accept from anyone else any less that you give yourself. So, for example, I love myself so much, I would never, beat myself down, or I never would yell at myself or kind of down myself, or verbally attack myself to make myself feel down about something I did. So I would never let somebody else do that to me. You get what I'm saying? You would never let somebody, you would never allow someone to treat you less than you treat yourself. So when you love yourself, you treat yourself like gold. You didn't let nobody else treat you less than that. So the third question that I have is, how can I move forward with and not be hurt by the past? So the backstory to this is, she says she cut off her biological father completely, and she has limited contact with her mom and her stepdad, but she's still hurt deeply by the situation. Okay, so what they're saying to me is because you're still hurt deeply by the situation with your mom or your stepdad, that means that you definitely need to heal that from that situation. You definitely have some things that you're trying to suppress, that bother you. That bother you a lot, and you basically trying to live like it's not bothering you. You're really not going to heal from that pain until you address that. You cannot move forward basically trying to act like it didn't happen, or you're not hurting, or you're not affected, because the reason that you're still hurting deeply is because you're trying to put it on the back burner. Basically, you're trying to cover it up and keep moving. You know what I'm saying? You know how we do when we hurt, and everybody telling us, listen, we don't got time to be hurt, or we don't got, you don't got time for that. You got to keep moving. You got to blah, blah, blah. Yes, you do got to keep moving, but you need to acknowledge what's hurting you. You know what I'm saying? You don't wallow in your pain, and you don't, sit around and just kind of mope around in it for however long and keep, what I'm saying? That ain't what I'm saying doing, but you need to acknowledge what is hurting you. What did they do? What, what I'm saying? Even if you feel like you can't bring the situation to your mom or to your stepdad or to your dad, you know what I'm saying? Even if you feel like it's not a situation that you will be able to, or they will be receptive to hearing you out on, you still need to find a way to acknowledge that for yourself. And the thing about it is, what I had to learn is, it's almost like I had an issue where I felt like my thing was they did not acknowledge what happened to me. My parents, they wasn't acknowledging what happened to me. They was letting me, or they wanted to allow me to basically making me feel like it never happened, and like I was delusional or something. And what I had to realize is I don't need their validation to make it true. You get what I'm saying? So even if it's a situation like that, like I said, you feel like they ain't receptive, or they feel like their version of the story is not the same as yours. So whatever the case may be, you know what I'm saying? You have to be able to acknowledge your pain, or whatever the fuck they did to you, or whatever the fuck the situation is, and realize that in order for you to get past it, you have to forgive them. So you have to acknowledge whatever happened, whatever the situation was. You know what I'm saying? And then you have to start to focus or refocus on what it is you would like to feel like from this situation. So you got to forgive and let it go. It doesn't mean that you have to forget it. You get what I'm saying? It don't mean that you have to put yourself back in a gullible situation for it to happen to you again. None of that shit. It don't mean none of that. It just means that you have to forgive it and let it go. So that it won't have a hold on you. Because as long as you hold it on to it, it's blocking lots of things that could be happening for you. Number 4, the fourth question that I have for you was, what from my childhood is blocking me. And this person says that her parents are unavailable to her. So I'll just say maybe if your parents are deceased or they're just in a position where you just can't talk to them, or they're not going to be active in helping you heal those relationships with them. I would say the things that you will know what is from your childhood that is blocking you, because it's things that still bother you. You get what I'm saying? These things are things that or situations or even memories, you know what I'm saying? Even mannerisms that you have and that you've carried along from a child, even mindsets that you've carried along from a child, you know what I'm saying, that happen to be derogatory or that happen to hinder your growth as a grown woman or as an adult person. You know what I'm saying? Any of those things. Like, for example, one of the things that I had to, or that I'm still currently, healing from or trying to get away from, is the thought that you have to work hard for your money. And yeah, I know y'all gonna say I'm crazy, or y'all feel like you do, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, what I'm saying is, it's almost to say there's almost been taught, or we've been taught almost, that it's like we don't deserve to have abundance or to have financial stability without working like slaves. You know what I'm saying? And that's just simply not true. And that's just something, because I've been taught that as a child or all my damn life from whoever the hell in my family, and they've been taught it, and we've been, you know what I'm saying, it's been passed down throughout the years or whatever. That's just something that I've been taught so long that it's kind of hard for me to stop thinking that, you know what I'm saying? So I have a hard time napping. Like, I can't even take a break from, from doing something productive, because I feel like if I'm not doing something productive at every moment and at every turn, then I'm lazy. You know what I'm saying? And that's not true. And that's where you get these mentalities, or you get these people, and you get these, entrepreneurs that kind of work themselves to death, basically, or working themselves into a coma, or working themselves into a stroke, because we feeling like, or we've been taught that, you know what I'm saying, we don't deserve it if we're not working hard. You get what I mean? So it's so many things that you could have learned from your childhood, or that could have affected you from your childhood, that are still, influencing who you are today, or what you're doing today, or how you moving today, or how you thinking today. You know what I'm saying? And those are the things that I mean. Those are the things that you will realize that are from your childhood that are blocking you. Like, for example, as a child, I was always told, I used to sing a lot. Like, I used to sing all day, every day, and my mom and my brothers and shit, they used to be so aggravated with me singing the same songs over and over and over. And when I say I used to sing the same shit over and over, y'all, like, I used to have songs on repeat and shit. So imagine, you know what I'm saying? I'm a little girl, and I love that shit, y'all. Like, that shit made my heart smile. That was something that I love to do, just singing my little soul away. Everybody used to tell me to shut up so much. They didn't want to hear me sing. They didn't want to hear, what I had to say. Most of the time, they didn't want to hear what I had to say in a conversation or argument or none of that, you know what I'm saying? So as a result of that, I grew up really feeling like didn't nobody want to hear what I had to say, or you know what I'm saying, people don't want to hear me sing, or they feel like I can't sing, you know what I'm saying, like that. And so I had to do lots of work, or I'm still having to do lots of work on my throat chakra to make myself more susceptible to communicating clearly, and expressing, what I want to say clearly, and communicating in the ways that people understand me, or that I understand people, you know what I'm saying, listening, all of those things. Like, everything that has to do with communications are things that I have to work on actively, you know what I'm saying, with my throat chakra. It had my throat chakra out of balance, because everybody has told me all my life that you know what I'm saying, ain't nobody want to hear me talking. I've been working my throat chakra for the last year to make a live video for the first time, and this is my third one ever in life. Like, so it's people think that childhood traumas are just things like, oh, I got my ass beat, or no, it's so many things and so many varieties of what a childhood trauma could be, or what are the blockages, and you don't really even realize how small certain things are that bother you so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, who knew people telling me, my mom and brothers telling me, or not listening to me would cause me to have an anxiety. You get what I'm saying? Like an attention anxiety for talking in front of people. You know what I'm saying? That's something that you wouldn't think is not connected, but it is. It's connected for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just things like that are blocking you, that could have been from your childhood. It's just something that you will have to take time to think about and figure out for yourself. You know. So the fifth question I have is, or no, the fifth thing that I have as far as just healing your relationships and your parents, period, or working on that relationship, period, is just doing your shadow work. And what shadow work is I don't know, I don't know what other people's definition of it is, but shadow work for me, or shadow work generally, means doing the work and addressing yourself, your hidden shadows of yourself, or your own brain, the things that you're trying to suppress and you're trying to act like aren't there. And you know what I'm saying? Lots of things that are hurting you or that you're going through, and people are walking around like zombies, basically acting like they ain't in pain, and they are. You get what I mean? I know y'all get what I mean, because a lot of y'all are those type of people. You have to get real with yourself. It's subjective, you know what I'm saying? You have to be able to address yourself and check yourself sometimes, and like, what was your accountability in the situation? You have to take emotional responsibility, because of course we know that you're not physically, putting yourself in these situations. You're not physically hurting yourself. You're not physically causing trauma on yourself, but emotionally you go through these situations, and the fact that you never address them, or that you try to suppress them, and that's emotionally your responsibility, that you're making it worse. You get what I'm saying? It's emotionally you're responsible for how long it takes you to heal, or how long it takes you to address, or how long it takes you to, you know what I'm saying? All of that. So you have to take emotional responsibility for what's happening to you, or what has happened to you, or how you reacted to it. Because the thing is, you can't control how people treat you, or what you went through, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to another person's treatment or involvement with you. You know what I'm saying? You can only control how you react to it. Number 6, I would say you have to stop taking everything personal. For me, that was kind of the biggest thing. It would be shocking for some people to realize that, or to hear me saying that, because I just felt like, you know what I'm saying, they my parents, and it's their fucking responsibility to get it right, because I'm their fucking kid, and I ain't, asked to be here. But the thing is, yeah, they my parents, but they just humans. They don't got it all together, you know what I'm saying? They don't know every fucking thing just because they my parents. They didn't have it all together. They didn't get everything perfect the first time, you know what I'm saying, type shit. And just like I have to tell some of my friends now, we're parents, and they have brand new kids and shit, and you don't know everything. You're a new parent, so imagine that our parents were new parents. You know what I'm saying? While they were causing these harms, or whatever the case may be, they're just people, and we have to. That's a big thing. That was a big thing in my healing that helped me to heal that situation, because, like I said, for some of us, our parents are not actively participating in helping us heal those relationships. So imagine I'm healing my relationships with my parents by myself. They were not actively, in that with me. I was kind of working on it by myself at first, but, now that I can talk to them about it, I tell them, you know what I'm saying, what I got going on, or how I got to the point where I can understand them now, or where I can talk to them now. But at the end of the day, I'm actively working on healing my own parental wounds without my parents' help. You know what I'm saying? So, basically accepting that I can't take everything personal was a really big step, but it really, really helped. So number 8, I'll say, is one of the biggest things. Number 8, y'all, hurt people. So our parents fucked up, like, you know what I'm saying. Like I said, like I talk to my friends all the time. They talk about all these older generations of people and shit. They talk about how bad they feel like our generations are and shit. But they raised us. You get what I'm saying? They raised us or didn't raise us or whatever the fuck it is. We're a product of them. And hurt people hurt people. So if we fucked up, it's because they fucked us up. So imagine that if we a little fucked up, that means they fucked up. They're fucked up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our parents got fucked up childhood wounds too, and they're not like us. They're not, a generation of people who are actively trying to figure out what their issue is to heal it. I mean, the only reason that we really this far along is because we give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? We give a fuck about ourselves and trying to get our shit together. So we're actively trying to figure out what's our problem. You know what I'm saying? So just because we out here trying to figure out our problem don't mean our parents are. And y'all, from experiencing, you know what I'm saying, from your own experience with your own parents, you can positively say that a lot of our parents ain't trying to heal themselves. So imagine, they fucked up, y'all. They hurt, you know what I'm saying? And maybe a lot of them, or not even maybe, a lot of them do not know how much of their pain that they have inflicted onto us. You know what I'm saying? They don't understand, or they can't even put it in that same type of perspective to see how much of their pain that they're passing on to us. They really don't know. A lot of them don't know. So that comes back into number 7 again. You can't take everything personal. You know what I'm saying? They need healing too. Even though they're not going to be the ones to actively heal themselves, clearly. I mean, maybe shit, some of them are, but not majority of that generation. The thing is, I had an elder tell me one time that some of these people or some of these kids, some of us are sent here to heal our parents. You know what I'm saying? So some of y'all were incarnated to heal your parents. You have to play an active part in their healing. You have to help them understand what the fuck they're doing to you so they can understand how to heal them fucking selves. You get what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand that there's a purpose for everything that happens to you. Everything. Even the fucked up things. The fucked up things usually have the best lesson. You know what I'm saying? Or the biggest lesson, actually. And number 9, I say, be patient. Forgive people. Forgive your folks, y'all. I mean, and it's a real hard thing when you have to forgive people who ain't even sorry. But it's not about them. And regardless if they're sorry or not, the forgiveness is for you. It's going to help you heal. It's going to help the bitterness go out your soul. You know what I'm saying? It's going to clear blockages and open roadways for you to go forward. You know what I'm saying? You have to forgive people. And you have to acknowledge whatever the lesson was. And hopefully if you learn that lesson, not even hopefully, if you learn that lesson, it won't have to repeat itself. But until you learn the lesson, you will keep on getting the same, you will keep on getting the same lessons repeated, or the same situation repeated, or the same hurt repeated, even if it's different ways. It's going to keep on repeating in your life some way until you learn the lesson. So your best bet is to acknowledge the lesson and accept that lesson. Accept it, for what it is and how it helped you to grow. And hopefully it did help you to grow, because with every lesson is another step forward in your progress. So be patient. Forgive your parents. Acknowledge your lessons. Don't take everything personal. Stop taking everything personal. Realize your parents are just humans. They don't got it all together just because they're your parents. Just like we don't got it all together just because we turned 20. Or we just turned 25. Or we turned 21. You know what I'm saying? Just because we said we own a business or we're self-employed, don't mean we got it all together. Do not assume that your parents got it all together. They know it all because they're your fucking parents. That's not true. Don't take everything personal. And find the lesson. Acknowledge the lesson. And I feel like a lot of y'all will be alright. Realize that you don't have to have your parents active in your healing process in order for you to heal. Your parents don't have to be active in your healing process in order for you to heal. You just make sure that you forgive yourself and take acknowledgement for whatever position that you played, you know, whatever your part was in these situations. Acknowledge all of the details of the situations. Stop trying to hide and run and put all the gory stuff in the corner. It's no, as long as you try to hide from some of the stuff, or, try to sugarcoat what the fuck the issue is, whatever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? As long as you try to sugarcoat or try to run from that shit gonna keep on chasing you. So you might as well put that shit all out on the table. All that shit. Put all that shit out on the table. It don't even matter who don't like it or who's uncomfortable with none of that shit, because it's about you and it's about your healing. So if you gotta fucking say, my motherfucking daddy raped me and my mama ain't do a motherfucking thing, then you say that shit. You get what I'm saying? Whatever you need to do. But you gotta acknowledge your pain. You gotta accept that shit. And then you gotta focus on what you want to get out of this. You know what I'm saying? What you want to get out of this. Once you heal this, or once you let that shit out, where you want to go from there? Where I want to go from there. And if your, goal is peace, then you just keep on moving forward. You keep on acknowledging each little thing in your motherfucking heart, or anything in your soul, anything that, you've been suppressing. You acknowledge that shit. You confront that shit. You know what I'm saying? Realize that you played a part, and sometimes people are not going to acknowledge their part, and you don't need their validation for that shit to be real. But do you do what you need to do to heal those situations? And the thing about it, as you heal yourself, the situation will be healed regardless of they want it to be or not. You get what I'm saying? I mean, even if and most of the time what you don't understand is not that they don't want the situation to be healed, but they be stubborn as fuck. Just the same way you don't want to go tell them you sorry, they don't want to go tell you they sorry either. So, when you're working on self-healing, you got all that pride shit got to be gone. That shit got to be gone. You got to work on yourself. Work on yourself and everything else will fall into place. And with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in to Elevated Reflection episode 3. It's been wonderful. Peace, peace, and love. Ashe, family.